This is the basic circle flip card, and I wanted to show you some options with this card as it is a very versatile card. So right now I am thinking about an anniversary card, and I have created some little hearts that you see here. First, I want to show you how I did that. So I went to shapes and I inserted a heart. So we have two of the hearts that I inserted here. The first one, I'm going to size it at 3 inches. And the second one, I'm going to size at 3 1/8, which is 3.125. And then I'm going to select them both. I'm going to go to Align and hit Center. And then in the bottom corner here, I'm going to click on Slice. Then as we pull these apart, it leaves just this little outline. And what I did then is I clicked on my outline and I went to it in the Layers panel. I changed it to right. And then I selected my colors, and I did half of them in red, half of them in black. And then I resized it to the size that I wanted, and then you'll see that I changed the angle of some of them and kind of scattered them and sprinkled them across the card to get the effect that I wanted. Now you can certainly add other shapes, other designs. You can add other embellishments. Another piece that I have done with this card previously is I have some of the Anna Griffin cartridges, and I have done some print then cut floral pieces and arranged those on this card as well. But today I'm going to work with all images that are free for you to use. So we're going to go with what we have right here. And now that I have the hearts placed where I want, I'm going to have this sentiment circle right about in here, and we'll glue that on once the card is cut and everything, so it shows right through this window. I'm going to slide him off to the side, and I'm going to attach all of these cute little hearts to my card. So I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to click Attach. And now those will be attached to that card. The next thing I'm going to do is my sentiment piece. Now I'm going to ungroup that, and I am going to double click in where the sentiment is, and I'm going to replace that with my own sentiment. So that is in Cricut Stands, which should be a free font for you, but I'm going to delete it. I'm going to go to Text, and I am going to go to here where it says System. Those are the fonts that I have saved on my computer. It will be the same for you. And I'm going to scroll through real quick and just pick out a font that I want to use for this card. Now I do use wordmark.it to help me pick fonts so that it makes it easier for me to see what my text is going to look like. But I'm just going to go ahead and use Black Chancery. That was a free font from DA Font. And I'm just going to type in Happy Anniversary. Now I'm going to go to Alignment as I want that centered. And then my line spacing, I want closer. So I'm going to go up here to where it's line spacing. And I'm going to reduce that to probably a -1. And then I'm going to go to letter spacing, and I'm going to reduce that to the same thing, -1. A little too close. Let's go to spacing of 1. 0.5. There we are. That's a whole lot better. Now I'm going to resize this to fit on my circle. And then I'm going to change this to writing. And that will do the outline, but at this small a size, I'm not going to have as much gapping as you often do. Now I can resize that to where I want it. I'm going to select both. I'm going to align center. Perfect. And then I'm going to click attach. So now I have this for here. And then these pieces here. This one is a design or a ring to go around there. I'm going to move it to the front so you can see it. And that will add a contrast to that. This piece can be used behind it to close the circle and give you a more of a solid front. And then this can also be used to add an additional sentiment and placed on the front if you do close that inner circle. It also, let's see if I can get a hold of it now. Let's see, arrange, move to back, and this one here can also be placed here once you have the card created. So we're going to go ahead from here, and I'm going to cut these out of some different assorted things. We're going to click Make It. Now I'm going to cut this card out of 8.5 by 11. For whatever reason, it's not going to allow me to do that. But this circle piece, I can slide right in here, and it will cut from the center of that. So I don't have any wasted paper. And then I have my tan, my red, and those two other pieces. So we are all set. I'm going to go ahead and click Continue. And we are going to go with my maker. And I do like to use the maker on a lot of the projects where I'm using cardstock because they have the intricate cut. They have this setting here, light pattern paper, and I use this for the pretty papers that come in the die cuts with a view stacks. It tends to tear even with a new blade and a new mat. And so if you use that setting to cut it, it works perfectly. But right now we're going to do a light cardstock because I'm using white. And here we are writing, so you're going to ask for your pen. But then also it's asking for the scoring wheel in clamp B. Now if you do not have the scoring wheel, you just have the scoring tool, you can click here on the right hand side where it says Edit Tools, change it to the scoring stylus and click Continue. And now it will work with the scoring stylus. And then the fine point, so it will score, then it's going to go ahead and ask for the pen to do the writing portion. So I hope that helps. I'm going to go ahead and get these cut, and then I will be back. Now that I have all of my pieces cut and assembled, I'm going to go ahead and fold this card. So first we're going to fold this section in to form the front of the card. Then the first of the two score lines we're going to fold in, but be careful not to fold the circle part. And then we're going to fold this section back, which then will create our card. Now, from here, I'm just going to go ahead and decorate it. I'm going to write a personal sentiment here. So I'll start, actually, I'm going to start with the inside. So I have my pieces to create the frame around the opening. And I'm just going to use a little bit of the Zig adhesive. I love that for things like this. It dries rather quickly and it forms a nice bond. So I'm going to go ahead and place that on the inside. And then these hearts that I went back and cut, I'm going to go ahead and pop on here where I had written those two in. I just think that that's going to be a better choice for the outside of this card. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to pop this one here. And then I'm going to adhere this in place here. This is my inside sentiment. And it's often the case when I'm doing these cards that I end up having to go back and forth because there are so many options with this card that I find that I kind of create as I go. So that was the case today and is so often the case. There is that sentiment. And then I just need to go ahead and do the front of the card. And again, I have another frame piece here, which I'm going to do with my zig. And get that positioned on here perfectly. And then I have a bow, which I'm going to go ahead and pop a little bit heavier adhesive on for that. And I'll put that right up here. And wait for that to stick down. And then lastly, I have this floral embellishment, which I'm going to go ahead and put down here, like so. And then you'll see as this card comes together, and the bow didn't dry on, but I don't want to hold this process up. But the bow will go here, and that will create the front of my card. And then it opens and swings open, and then I'll have a handwritten sentiment on the inside. So I hope you enjoyed this card. Now the card is complete. So here is the one that I was showing you in the video. And that is, it will fit in an envelope, a 5x7 envelope nicely. So it makes a very neat card, something a little bit out of the ordinary. And then one of the things that we always have trouble with are masculine cards. So here is a more masculine version. This was cut out of a blue cardstock and then accented with blues and greens. And that also makes a really cute card. I have gone in and added the layers, so you will have the layer panels as well for the card, and the sentiments are there. So all of the pieces you need to create these two or many other cards are going to be all included in this design.